I'm traveling alone to one of the most beautiful historic cities in Vietnam, which used to be the capital during the last emperor rule and was also the battleground for the Battle of Hue, which was one of the longest and bloodiest battles in the Vietnam War. Hue suffered greatly during the wars, but now it's officially a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I was really impressed by the city, and it is amazing to see how beautiful it is now. You just wouldn't imagine that just about 50 years ago it was a battleground for a whole month. You will see modern Hue, accommodation options, food, budget, and the Forbidden City, which was completely closed off for common people, and coming here was even punishable by death. As a bonus, I will also show you some remnants of the American-Vietnamese War, which I consider a hidden gem of Hue, and I haven't seen it mentioned in any of the guides. Hello everyone, my name is Olga and I'm living abroad for 7 years now. Together with my husband Rene, we lived 1 year in Turkey and now spent another year in Da Nang, Vietnam. We show you what kind of life can you have in Southeast Asia on around $1,000 a month and give you practical tips and things to watch out for. Da Nang, where we live, is one of the best cities to live in Vietnam, and one of the reasons is it is located on the beach in the middle of the country, and it's easy to travel from here by plane, train, or even by a motorbike. Hue is only about 2.5 hours by train north from Da Nang, and you can buy a train ticket online. I took a bike taxi from my apartment to train station in Da Nang, and getting on the train was very straightforward. I haven't traveled solo for a while and was feeling really excited for the trip. And if you're a solo traveler, especially a woman, I can tell you right away I felt very safe during the whole trip. Ticket price was about 85,000 Vietnamese dong, which is under 4 US dollars one way. So I kind of didn't expect much luxury for such a low price. And as you know, train travel in Southeast Asia can be quite adventurous. But to my surprise, this train came on time. I had a seat number on my ticket and it was actually available. I didn't have to rush into the train in case there are no seats left or anything like that. There was an overhead luggage space, a foldable eating table, even a power socket and an AC, a toilet as well. The train itself, I wouldn't say it was pristine clean, but it was still very decent, didn't have any bad smells or anything. Overall, the trip felt like a breeze, and if you're lucky and get a window seat, you're to enjoy one of the best views in Vietnam. The train goes along the seaside, and Hai Van Pass is a must-see in Vietnam. And the pro tip, if you want to make beautiful pictures, there is a small window that you can actually open in the space between the trains and also inside the toilet. So here we are in Hue. I take a bike taxi again, which only took me about 10 minutes to get to my hotel. And along the way, I'm already impressed how beautiful the city is. And the river promenade is really well maintained, and it will become even more impressive after sunset. Stick around to see it. On a small side street in the city center, I booked a budget hotel, and the location turned out to be just perfect. And again, I didn't expect much from a budget hotel, but it turned to be really good and such a great value for money. This is one of the many reasons I love Vietnam. It's that accommodations are very often a great value for the price. There are less and less places in Southeast Asia where this is the case. This is my room. Welcome. Sorry for any camera shakings. It's a bit hard for me to film by myself, but what can I do? This is a solo trip for you. Yeah, so this is the room. It actually was recommended to me by our Irish friends. They stayed here and I decided to stay here as well. So I think they gave us a good recommendation. I mean, there's not much of a window view over there, but it's still nice and green. I think it's quite decent. There's an AC, it's working, there's even a fan, and it's not even rusty. Sometimes if they're old they can be rusty, but this one is dusty, but not rusty. And the TV, 2 chairs, free water, mini fridge. Not the best one, but it's there, it's working. So the moment of truth. Is this bed rock hard, like it's quite often in Asia, or is it soft? Will we find out? It is super soft. I feel like a winner in life. I won the lottery. A hotel for this price with a soft bed. Congratulations. Price of it is about $10 a night. Imagine that. And it's both for 2 people or for 1 people. There was no discount for 1 person. And it's also really close to the city center. So I already drove on a Grab bike and it was so nice. Like I feel already in love with Hue. And can't wait to do some exploration. General advice is to go sightseeing in Hue either early morning or after 3 p.m. So I took some rest after the train trip and got another bike taxi to see one of the sites with a free entrance. By the way, if you will get inspired to include Hue in your Vietnam itinerary, all the locations from this video, sightseeing, accommodation, food, transportation, all of that will be in the guide that you can grab via the link in the description of the video. For now, it's free to download, so save it for your future trip. To get back to my hotel, I could take a bike again, but another option is one of the boats. You can go directly to one of the boats, or in my case, I was there just making pictures and videos, and the lady offered me to come on her boat. The initial price was about 200,000, 50,000 Vietnamese dong, which is around $10. But I was prepared and read online that you can negotiate down to 100,000, which is under $4 US. So because it's only a 10-minute ride on a shared boat, so the price should be even lower, I think. We negotiated, agreed on 100,000, and I got on a boat. And in fact, I shared that boat with a Spanish-American couple that bought a return boat trip at their hotel, and it was supposed to be a private boat. But it was nice chatting with other travelers as I was by myself on this trip, and the river view were just gorgeous. I would definitely recommend a boat trip in Hue. Afterwards, I had a walk along the river promenade and was amazed. I thought beach promenades in Da Nang and Nha Trang are the best in the country. But in Hue, it was even more clean and well maintained. I noticed a very relaxed vibe. Many locals are enjoying their time after work. There were cozy coffee shops, sculptures, areas where people could do some sports or just sit and enjoy each other's company, and the views completely for free. For dinner, I chose a restaurant right next door to my hotel. It is family owned and the food is freshly made and prepared very quickly. Very good prices too, considering it's catering mostly to tourists. I liked it so much, next morning I had a breakfast there too. It was simple Vietnamese style breakfast and only about $2 US. The owners speak English and they are very easy to communicate with. Even though there is coffee at the restaurant too, I strongly recommend going to one of the coffee shops. And again, just around the corner from my hotel, I had one. I came to this coffee shop every morning to just slowly start my day, plan the activities, and just to be in the moment for a bit, to not stress about the future and to just enjoy peaceful atmosphere of this place. Did you know that Vietnam is the second largest coffee producer in the world after Brazil? and the coffee shops are everywhere. You will be surprised with all the varieties of coffee drinks available. Of course, cappuccino and latte are available too, but at a higher price compared to local drinks. You can have condensed milk coffee, egg coffee, coconut coffee, salt coffee, avocado coffee. These are just a few that you should definitely try. But most of the time, they will be very strong and very sweet. First adventure of my second day is visiting one of the emperor tombs in Hue. In around 25 minutes by bike, I arrive at Khai tomb. The weather is very hot. I strongly recommend sunscreen, clothes covering your shoulders, a hat and a bottle of water. You will be wandering there for hours, so believe me, you will need it. There are several emperor tombs to visit in Hue, and I will have a list of them in the guide that you can download via the link in the description. I did not have a hat and had to wear my light jacket, and heat stroke and dehydration is a very serious thing in a tropical climate, so if you're spending hours exploring under the sun, make sure you are protected. I got back into city center for lunch and found another great restaurant with many healthy food choices. For example, this fruit bowl was even gluten and lactose free. I myself am not intolerant, but I do know that many people struggle finding an option like that. And following my own advice to not go out in the middle of the day because of the heat, I spent some time in this restaurant and afterwards wanted to visit a spa located on the same street. But on my way, I decided to check out a mid-budget hotel that we can come and stay together with Renee next time. It looked really good, and I will have a link to it in the free guide. There were also many spas and good-looking restaurants along the street, so I say it's a good neighborhood to stay. At the spa, I had a shoulder massage. And finally, in the evening, I went to see the main attraction, the Forbidden City. The Imperial City of Hue contains the palaces that house the imperial family, as well as the shrines, and it was constructed in 1803 under Vietnamese emperor. Inside the citadel was the Forbidden City, where only the emperors, concubines, and those close enough to them were granted access. The punishment for trespassing was death. Today, little of the Forbidden City remains, though reconstruction efforts are in progress to maintain it as a historic tourist attraction. Out of 160 buildings, only 10 major sites remain after the war. Today, the Imperial City is designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Overall, the complex was not too crowded on the day when I visited, and later in the evening I was even completely alone. I actually spent probably 2 hours wandering around and just lost the track of time. And at some point, most of the gates that were open during the day, they were already closed, and I got even scared a bit that I just can't get out. And the perimeter is actually quite long, so I was rushing from one gate to another, and my phone was almost empty because I was filming all day. So just right now I saw a bike going there. So let's hope that's the exit and it's open and I can exit the situation. Oh, I see some people. Nice. I am not lost. For my last dinner in Hue, I went to another family-run local restaurant. I finally got to eat the famous soup, Bunbo Hue. And I could say the place is quite popular. It really got full later in the evening. My final goal for the day was to visit a rooftop bar at what looked like the tallest hotel in the city. And the views were supposed to be amazing, but I had zero energy and just fell asleep. I will include it in the guide anyway for those of you who would want the experience. Next morning, after breakfast and coffee, I needed to head to the train station. But the day before, riding from one of the attractions, I noticed some old military tanks and planes on display. So before the train, I decided to visit what turned out to be an open-air war museum. There is no entry fee and I haven't seen anyone there. I also haven't seen it mentioned in the guides that I read before the trip. To be honest, I didn't prepare for the trip that well, just pinned some locations to visit. But now, while editing this video, I read more about the city and its history, so I could do it justice. And having done some research and having more knowledge about how much the city suffered and how it was damaged during the war, I have so much more appreciation for how it looks now. Hue definitely recovered and offers so much as a major tourist destination in a modern Vietnam. I would not skip it, especially if you are visiting Da Nang, as they are so close. And if you don't know anything about Da Nang, this video will make you pack your bags right now.